So we're going to make the Hot Mulled Sloe over here in Covent Garden. We start off with a double shot of our sloe gin. So we're going to go straight into our mug that we've preheated, because it's obviously going to have a nice warm drink in there. We're going to add in a slice of orange, and then we're going to top this up with our cloudy apple juice that's been mulled with winter spices. So everything that you'll regularly see, so your cloves, star anise, cinnamon sticks, and some dried cranberries as well. And we're going to serve that straight up, nice and warm on a winter's day.
So it originated when the land was divided up among landowners in the 17th century, and back then they used blackthorn bushes or sloe bushes because they're really hardy, and it was enough to block animals from trespassing into other farmers' fields, things like that. Then they realised that there were these plump, almost plum-looking berries that were coming off of these bushes, and obviously curiosity got the better of them. They tried them, they realised they're really, really tart and astringent on their own. So they tried to find a solution for it. They first started off with trying to produce sloe wine, and that did not end well, unfortunately. So they couldn't get rid of the astringency of the berry until someone had the bright idea of resting it on spirit, and thus began sloe gin. So for this one, it's just a slight twist on a classic Negroni. Sweet vermouth. Campari. And then our sloe gin. We're then going to stir this down over a generous helping of ice. Give it a little taste, see how the dilution is. Grab a julep strainer there and strain the liquid. I think now people are trying to be a little bit more experimental with it. Obviously we've tried a few cocktails there, and I think it is more versatile than people probably assume it to be. Things like you could substitute a raspberry flavours like Chambord in a French martini and use sloe gin, for example, just to give it a nice little twist on there. So there's a lot of things you can do with it, and like I say, even though it is generally perceived to be a Christmas drink, I would recommend trying it in summer with like a long refreshing drink especially.
I think it definitely had a loss of popularity for a good couple of years, sort of in the 80s, that kind of era. Nobody was interested at all in it for a long time. But then as we got more interested in the environment and foraging and what we're doing to the world, I think there's been a renaissance of people making their own sloe gin and a real interest in sloe gin. So we're going to make a sloe gin sour, a Mother's Ruin sloe gin sour. First we're going to add ice, 30 millilitres of bourbon, then you have the extraordinary sloe gin that we make here on site. Straight in. And then we have fresh lemon juice. A dash of Angostura bitters, and then one of our favourites here at Mother's Ruin is the Mrs. Bitters Helper, which just gives it foam, so you don't have to use egg white, it's vegan, it makes it friendly for everybody to use. And then we shake for 30 seconds. What the shaking does is it releases ice into the drink, so it makes it a bit softer and mixes all that lemon juice in with the flavours. And then give it a And then just a simple pour. And then add a garnish and a straw. Now, as you watch this, you'll see it really start to settle and that foam really rising to the top there. It's really nice in a cold cocktail. We've made a few here today. It's really nice in hot cocktails as well. And what I mean by that is a hot sloe gin punch. We make hot sloe gin, it's lovely. And as a hot toddy as well, so people would often add it as a hot toddy, either with a bit of whiskey still or without whiskey if you found the whiskey too strong and powerful. And it's really nice in a hot chocolate too. So people have always experimented with it. But I think as both gin has increased in popularity and as cocktails has really become like a key skill and a key valued part of our society, then of course the cocktail experimentation with sloe gin has really ramped up, and there's so many great and amazing cocktails out there now with sloe gin in. We're going to make a sloe gin fizz. First we're going to add ice, and then we're going to add Mother's Ruin sloe gin. Look at that lovely, delicious. And then 25 mils of fresh orange juice, lemon juice. And then 1250 of sugar syrup. Any sugar syrup is fine. And we'll drop of foamer in. This is an exchange for egg whites, which of course vegans can't have. And then you want to strain it into your drink. And then add some lovely cold sparkling water. There we go. And she is. Sloe gin fizz. My tips are, people tell you, as soon as you pick the sloe berries, pop them in the freezer. So you don't have to prick them, you can just pop them in the freezer. The freezing of it bursts the skin, and then that allows the flavour to come out.
If you have easy access to them, the more the merrier with the sloe berries themselves. So you'd want to rest it in a mason jar or a kilner jar to the point that it's just beneath the liquid level, as a rule of thumb. And then what I would say again is, when you're sweeten cautiously, because you can always add more sugar if need be, you can't take away.
Many people make it at home and think they don't like sloe gin because they want to make it really quick and leave it for a couple of months and they think it's ready, and they're told it's ready, to be fair, online. But actually we find leaving it longer, the longer you can leave it, if you can leave it for a good year, then actually the product that you get is so much nicer.
And I would say it's the same with anything, it's a bit of trial and error as well. If you've got good access to it, then yeah, go for it.
I think get it, pick your fruit, put it in alcohol, add sugar, leave it for a long time and drink it and see if you like it.
So we're just going to start off with a really simple slow royale, which is a lovely twist on the classic Kir royale, which usually uses creme de cassis. We're subbing in our lovely sloe gin for it. And then we'll use your favourite sparkling wine. And then just a nice little lemon twist to add a bit of character to it. And then gently lay that there. And then you have your slow royale.